So hello everyone, my name is Cara Hunter and I am currently 25 and I just thought I get loads of questions in my job about how I got where I am so young. 25 is not usually the average age of a politician, so I just thought I would share a small, hopefully quick YouTube video just about the different steps of how to get politically involved at a young age, how it kind of works from the inside out, and just give you a brief synopsis of what it's like to be in your 20s and a politician. So enjoy. I am currently 25. I got into politics when I had just turned 23. And the reason I got into politics was because of something that happened to me when I was 21. So in 2017, I had lost a very dear friend. Sadly, he had taken his own life, and I was really deep in grief at the time. You still are, but at the time it was just overwhelming. So I started to really look down at, at what Northern Ireland's mental health policy is, how do we approach mental health, what way do we engage with people who are experiencing mental illness, all these kinds of things, just identifying stigma. It's the first time I'd really had to think about it. So at the time I was making a documentary and I had reached out to a local MLA, which was Daniel McCrossan, because I was living in Tyrone. And when I had met Daniel and seen what his office do, I was like, oh my goodness, like maybe politicians do want to create change and do, really seek to improve the lives of their constituents. So before I had been quite like, oh, this country will never go anywhere. I was quite disillusioned with the whole thing myself. I was guilty of the very thing I try to convince people not to do, which is sit back and think, oh, yous are all the same, which couldn't be more untrue. So essentially I had met Daniel and kind of looked at the work that they were doing, the people he had worked with within his constituency, what steps the party were doing politically. I wanted the political insight into where we are and where we need to be and how my local MLA at the time thought we could get there. So I really noticed this is where I really started to gravitate towards the SDLP, was I was like, this is a party that really prioritises people, it prioritises the health and well-being of their constituents, and this is something I really align with, both morally and politically, of course, with the reunification of Ireland and unifying its people. So I was like, well, humdinger, let's do this. So I joined the party and took the steps to be volunteer, so worked a few hours in Daniel McCrossan's office. And then from there, the opportunity to run for local council came up. So in December of 2018, I had received a call from Daniel to come up to Stormont the next day. I was like, oh, like I couldn't afford to sit at the time. I had like no money. And I had went on, I said, absolutely no problem, like, do I need to prepare, what do I need? He was like, just come with me. So we had the discussion around councillors, and there's like a selection, so that's how it goes on in political parties. So they interviewed me and asked what my aims would be politically, why did I get involved, what do I hope to achieve, what would I do differently, things like that. And I was like, oh, I really think, I used to be somebody in the youth that looked at politics and just thought, I don't want to get involved. And I just thought, I think I can offer maybe something a wee bit different. A lot of people aren't naturally political. Politics can seem really intimidating, really confusing. I think I would be a good person to kind of, knock that down and give political information in a way that people can hopefully understand. But that's not me, underestimating people's comprehension of politics. It's only people my age who've been like, I really don't understand it. So that's the kind of angle that I went from. But then moving forward, selection, and then a campaign happens. So to become a councillor, you have to run a campaign. So you basically say what your aims are, what your party aims are, what you would do differently for the constituency, or the DEA. It's called a district electoral area if you're a councillor, a DEA. And that's the people that you serve. So the DEA I was previously in had just over, I believe, was it 17,000 people? And then so I became a councillor in May of 2019, which was so exciting.
I'm absolutely elated. At the start I was kind of apprehensive and thinking that people wouldn't take me serious because I'm only 23, but then the more I thought about it, I was like, why wait? And I really want to make a change in our community, and fighting for better mental health facilities I think is vital given the Derry and Strabane history with suicide. So hopefully now with the seat in council I can make an impact.
I honestly didn't think I was going to get in, so I was really humbled and really taken back. because I was so young. I was 23, so I was like astounded and just elated because I didn't think anybody would take me serious, even though my whole heart was in it. But from there, what happened was I was a councillor and deputy mayor for Derry and Strabane District Council for a year, and that's how I got to where I am now. So I was a councillor until May of 2020, and then there was another selection process to be an MLA. So MLA stands for Member of the Legislative Assembly for Northern Ireland. So went through a selection process there, interview, all those kinds of things. There's a few steps. Didn't think I was going to get it at all, and then you know, here we are. So I was co-opted May, I think it was 18th or 19th, which was the most surreal day of my entire life. At the time I was the mental health party spokesperson, so I had written a list of everything. I was like, we're going to go in here and do everything that we can to you know, look at mental health and how we can change it. And so far I've set up the dual diagnosis all party group on addiction, so anybody struggling with addiction and a mental illness at the same time, and how we can help support them, and looking at, you know, the infrastructure around helping these people, what the gaps are and how we can fix them. So thankfully now as an MLA I've been put on the health committee for Northern Ireland in the Assembly, and it's honestly the best job in the entire world. I can't think of anything better or greater than serving the people in, you know, your community and where you're from. I really buzz off it. And if you're passionate about people, if you're passionate about, you know, politics is essentially debate, and as an MLA your role is to scrutinise, you know, legislation, hold ministers to account, and take care of the people in your community. And all parties have, you know, good MLAs, you know, but for me it was the SDLP just really stood out because I just believed in how they were inclusive of, you know, yes, we're nationalists fundamentally, we do want to see the reunification of Ireland, and you know, fundamentally to get that we need to seek to include people and to engage in conversation and all those things that really matter, and they're going to make that important framework of how we come together as a nation, first as people and then geographically. So that just really struck a chord with me, and that's how I became an MLA. The way I was previously a councillor in 2019 to 2020, and how there's kind of like three main steps to it. So first, identify the political party that you kind of align with, that you aspire to be like, or you see their political aims align very much with yours. So my advice would be, look at party manifestos, go through them, look at the party's aims, what do they prioritise, and kind of look at their track record, how long they've been in power, what they've done previously. And then when you find your political party, my advice would be is volunteer, make yourself available. You're really passionate about politics, you know, message your local MLA, your local MP, tell them you want to make a change, you know, you care about your country, you care about your people, your community, and that you'd like to get involved, whether that be, you know, volunteering for an hour or two in an MLA's office, helping them out, because being an MLA is a lot of work, or you know, get yourself in after school, or, you know, set up an Instagram for the party. There's so many small things you can do, and a lot of political parties do this very well. There's a lot of youth wings. We have one in East Derry, for example, where I represent. Shout out to the East Derry SDLP youth group. And they do fantastic work around things like climate change and mental health, and we would speak with them regularly about what kind of aims, what kind of campaigns they would like to see. I like to collaborate a lot with young people because I know that people as well under 18 can't vote, so I'm very mindful that young people, you know, still have a right and a say, and I try to keep abreast of that as much as possible. But that would be my advice. Look at what party you align with. You can also go as independent. B is, if you go for the party route that I went down, and you identify with a political party, so volunteer, make yourself available. And three, you know, come up with creative campaigns, get engaged, get involved. Canvas, which is where you go door to door during, you can do it the entire time, any day, any time, and the most common times for MLAs would be often the weekend because you work all week, so it can be difficult to canvas. But those are my three tips: volunteer, look at what political party you align with, and make yourself available to try new things, campaigning. So a big question I get a lot of the time is, were your family supportive, and like were your friends not like, what are you doing? And the answer is yes, my friends were a bit like, you are going to ruin your life. So because I was so young at the time, and then if you're political, of course, you know, you have to be very careful about life decisions and that kind of thing. So my friends kind of thought I was a bit mad, but they were supportive. And my family was kind of scared as well, because the you know, politics is the epitome of you know, sometimes it brings out the worst in people. So my parents were a bit like, oh God, you know, you're so young, would you not want to wait, enjoy your 20s, and then in a decade or two, you know, come back and serve your country or try and be a politician then? And I was like, no, like I just really want to try and make a change now. Who's to say I'll be alive in 10 or 20 years? And they knew I was doing it for the right reasons. There you go. That is just some of the tips that I have, just some advice and a little bit about how I got to where I am at the minute. If anybody has any further questions, I'm more than happy to answer them below. Again, big believer in getting young people involved, so feel free to contact me if you're thinking about it. And I hope everybody has a very blessed and happy 2021. And please stay safe and stay home, and let's beat this virus. And thank you for watching.